Time now for an Ingram Angle investigation. Who are the people behind these caravans that many think are wreaking havoc at the southern border? There are certain groups, many inside our own country, who are the chief drivers of these efforts. At the tip of the spear is an advocacy group known as POTUS Sin Fronteras. And we've highlighted them many times on the show. Pretty much before anyone was talking about them, we were. And they're described on their homepage as, quote, a collective of friends in permanent solidarity with displaced peoples. Sounds pretty nice. And the folks in charge of this group, Roberto Corona, he's a Mexican-born American and founder of POTUS Sin Fronteras. Ireneo Mujica is a dual Mexican-American citizen who was actually arrested in Mexico earlier in the last month after he obstructed Mexican police efforts. And finally, there is American Alex Mensing. He's an American project coordinator with Pueblo in San Francisco. But it doesn't stop there. PSF is a sister group to the Chicago-based entity Centro Sin Fronteras. Fronteras is the word for borders in Spanish. And that's led by an activist, fairly left-wing, known as Emma Lozano. She doubles as the pastor at the Lincoln United Methodist Church in Chicago. Now, last night we told you how these church groups can often be used to blur the lines between religion and activism. Catholic Church, a lot of people know I'm a Catholic, they get almost $100 million a year to resettle refugees and migrants across the United States. Now, what we laid out is just a small part, though, tonight of the Fronteras web. And we will continue to expose in the days and weeks ahead those groups and individuals who are involved in this. And they help organize the caravans, starting in Honduras and Guatemala, and also American immigration lawyers at the same time are also involved. And joining us now, we're delighted they're with us. Their Vice President, Alan Orr, joins us, along with investigative reporter Hayden Ludig, who recently took a deep dive into the activists behind the caravan efforts. Gentlemen, thanks for being here tonight. Alan, let's start with you. The argument from some, and I'm one of them, is that this seems to go beyond kind of charitable efforts to help those in need to actually organizing people in foreign countries in large groups to eventually overwhelm our southern border. Is that accurate?
It does. I mean, so it really depends. So for American immigration lawyers, we are not in foreign countries. What we are doing are we are addressing individuals, either women, children, men who have been detained in the United States. So we're not doing the outreach abroad. Some of those people.
There are some lawyers, American lawyers, I know
but they're not part of our organization. Okay, and it's not on behalf of our organization that they're doing that. And those people who call themselves Good Samaritans that are doing that sort of what they feel to be God's work, you know, don't necessarily.
A lot of them are doing the coaching, though. I mean, we've exposed this before. Lawyers from San Francisco, we try to get them on the show, they won't come on, who are literally down in these camps saying, well, this is how the process goes. You have to show a credible fear. This is what a credible fear. It's basically coaching people.
Well, I mean, I think some of it's coaching, some of it's being a lawyer, right? Because as a lawyer, we advise people what they need to do to meet the criteria.
You can't advise them to lie.
Well, not to lie, but we can tell them what the criteria is for them to be able to get into the country.
Most of the people, though, are economic migrants. I mean, 85, 90% of their claims are rejected, and they were under Obama, and they are under Trump. So these are overwhelmingly economic migrants who want to be here, be with family members, friends, or work here, and or all of those.
Right. So the issue is, if they really are economic migrants, then why not just process them, deny the cases, and send them back out, right? So that's really a U.S. border processing issue, not that of the migrant. So if the migrant walks in and says, I'm here to work, then we should be able to say, okay, no, that's not one of the reasons for the grounds to stay here. And so as lawyers, we're just saying, open up the ports and process the individuals. Don't send the military, send judges and social workers.
Let's talk about where this is from the Mexican standpoint here. Interesting polling that just came out today, at least I saw it today. 55% support tougher measures in future caravans. These are Mexicans. 52% support blocking them from entering the country without legal documentation. And that's El Universal, which is a very, very big Mexican newspaper. I actually read part of this in Spanish. I'm really trying to get my Spanish back. It's not quite there yet. But what about how this is playing in Mexico, on the Mexican side? Because it seems like every reporter down there is telling tales of woe in Tijuana.
Well, Mexico's paying the price, right? I mean, ultimately, as Tucker Carlson's pointed out, it's mass piles of garbage that are being left over by this massive caravan of thousands of people moving up from Central America. They haven't crossed over into the United States yet. So it's Mexico that they're sitting in, and the Mexican people are paying the price for that. And they want these people to follow Mexican law. They've already shown a disdain for Mexican national sovereignty by violating their borders and going into Mexico.
Now, yeah, yesterday in the angle, I pointed out Section 1324, 18 U.S.C., which is basically a very serious criminal provision that can be violated by anyone who is knowingly aiding and abetting those to come here to seek to game the system, violate our immigration laws, be serious and serious repercussions if someone dies as a result of illegal efforts. There are laws on the books that exist that can be used to prosecute individuals who help conspire to violate immigration laws. Is there anything that you found in your investigative reporting that would indicate that there is rampant legal problems with what's being done on the so-called humanitarian side?
Well, I think in the United States, you have organizations, you pointed out two of them. There's a third one, La Familia Latina Unida, the United Latin Family, right? That's right. And that organization, all three of them, they are pushing what a nonprofit can get away with. Emma Lozano, who runs Pueblo Centro and La Familia, for instance, has endorsed candidates for public office. J.B. Pritzker for Illinois governor just recently using United Methodist Church letterhead. So these organizations in the United States have shown a massive disdain for what nonprofits should be engaging in, both religious and secular nonprofits.
Yeah, Alan, a lot of these churches, Methodist Church, Lutheran Church, Catholic Church, they want pews. They have people in bodies in the pews.
Absolutely.
And her church, I believe they registered 1,600 DACA members to be in their church. 600, excuse me.
600. Helped them with their applications.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And so what we're saying is, like, is it a church? Is it a kind of an activist group, community organizing? It's kind of a lot of things at once.
Absolutely.
And the question is, what are the motivations here? And are there legal ramifications when some of this so-called activism is really organizing people for wholesale, wide-ranging violations of U.S. immigration law?
So I will not say that there are not people who don't violate the law. Immigrants who violate the code and individuals who do, but that is not rampant overall. But what I will tell you is that Mexico, while they are saying all these things about the immigrants, are absorbing them, right? They're giving them jobs.
Well, they're trying to give them asylum, and a lot of them aren't taking them. Gentlemen, we'll continue this. Thank you so much.